There are many different characteristics that lead to people becoming successful, but one of the most important ones I feel is self-image. And today I want to be talking about 8 methods to help with boosting that. Hey guys, Eric here, and welcome to another video where I will share 8 methods to boosting your self-image. I think that self-image is one of the most important qualities to success, as it is the foundation to success. After all, if you do not believe in yourself, or if you think of yourself in a negative way in terms of yourself or with your skills, then you're not going to be going anywhere. You're not going to have any passion or drive or any kind of motivation to make any change at all in your life if you see yourself as just this average individual or just a terrible individual or anything like that. So for individuals who are in those sorts of positions, I want to be sharing with you some methods to help with boosting your self-image, raising your confidence and your self-belief. The first method I want to be talking about is the role model or as if model. Both of these methods encompass visualization. You're either visualizing yourself as your role model, or you're visualizing yourself in the future. While a lot of people will argue that comparison is bad for you, I would argue that in this sort of situation, it's very beneficial for you, especially when you change how you're comparing yourself. You're not comparing your differences, well, you are comparing your differences, but you're comparing in such a way where you're already thinking, okay, I can achieve this sort of stuff. What is something that I need to do in order to get to where I want to be? The second method to boosting your self-image is to have curiosity. What I mean by that is having curiosity for not only yourself, but with topics and passions that you're interested in. The thing with people is that we all change and we all develop. We figure out new things that we find very fascinating or that we have a passion for as time goes on, or the more events and things happen to us in our lives. As a result, it's important for us to stay on top of figuring out what are we interested in, what do we want to be doing, what is something that is going to drive us forward. It's important for that because I understand that not a whole lot of people don't have their own sort of identity. I myself kind of ran into that sort of situation where all I've been doing is doing my writing work and that's it. And at the end of the day, it just boils down to my purpose is merely just to write. And I said, well, that's not really it for me because I want to do some other things. I have these other passions, I have these other interests. So it's important that we have a healthy curiosity for the other things that we want to be exploring, because that's what's going to help us with rounding ourselves out and forming more of an identity for ourselves. The third method to boosting your self-image is to treat yourself. Now, I know for a lot of people, as soon as they hear treat yourself, they're going to be thinking, oh, I'm just going to be indulging myself in unhealthy stuff and just buy a whole bunch of things and yeah. And of course, you can take it in that sort of context, but what I mean by treating yourself is not always that, but doing things that make you feel good, make you feel a lot better, and actually make progress in your own life. For example, I recently joined a gym because with all my writing work, I've been working very hard on that and making a lot of money for that, to the point that I can afford going to a gym and working out and treating myself to feeling a lot better about myself and being more energized so I can do the other things that I want to be doing. It's similar to the idea of treating yourself to more work after you've already completed a very tough assignment, or doing some work that makes you feel very happy, that makes you feel energized. Is that sort of treating yourself that I prefer and that I'm going for with this whole point. The fourth method to boosting your self-image is to change your outlook on life. As far as our own outlook on life, it shapes our own reality. as I mentioned already, if we're not going to be doing anything, if we're not going to be striving for anything, it's usually because we have a negative outlook of our skills or ourselves. We're not going to be achieving anything if we don't believe in ourselves and that we can actually achieve that. So it's important that we change our outlook on life and change how we view ourselves. And one way that you can do that is start by asking questions. Start to identify yourself and to really focus in on your own views of various concepts. This is incredibly powerful because it shapes how we behave around certain things. For example, our attitude around money is incredibly important because it determines our own spending habits. If we see money as a resource, then we're going to be more likely to use that as a tool to enhance ourselves rather than just spending it on a whole bunch of things that don't make us feel very good or anything like that, or we're just buying stuff for the sake of buying stuff. Those sorts of attitudes all are based around our own mindsets and our attitude around money and our outlook on money and life. So if we change our outlook, we change a lot of other things, and our own attitude and behavior revolving around those topics. The fifth method to boosting your self-image is to monitor your thoughts about yourself. While this is pretty much the same thing as the previous method that I mentioned, I still want to be paying special attention to our thoughts specifically. Our thoughts will shape how our outlook is, not only with ourselves, but with our whole attitude. These are the things that go behind the scenes, and I think it's very important that we pay close attention to those things and start to make adjustments to that. Because if we view ourselves in a negative light, then we're going to be seeing a lot of other things in a negative light. The sixth method to boosting your self-image is to have desire. Desire is a powerful motivator, and it's akin to a why for your goal. It's a deep personal reason for moving forward and taking action. This is what's going to be moving us forward and is going to shape our own reality. Because if you view yourself in a negative way, or you view your skills in a negative way, then you're not going to improve them and they're going to get rusty over time. Our action is simply by doing nothing about it. But if you say, hey, I want to be a better YouTuber, I want to be a better entrepreneur, I want to be a better person, and these are the qualities for it, and you have a desire for that, and you have a personal reason for that, then that's going to propel you forward. You're going to start doing some more research. You're going to figure out, what do I need to be doing to get here? Do I need any kind of special programs? Do I need, what do I need to get to where I want to go? And it's all action. The seventh method to boosting your self-image is to change your view of insults and criticisms. I see those as opportunities to grow in a variety of ways. When it comes to insults, sometimes it just comes out of nowhere, and it's important for us to not feel offended by those things, but to see those as opportunities for us to grow and maybe make some changes to other people as well. If you see something that is offensive, you can always reach out to that person and say, hey, I think that this is not very good because of these particular reasons. And sometimes people will make some changes for that. What I'm trying to get at is that it's important that we change how we view insults and criticisms, and sometimes just give people the benefit of the doubt that, hey, maybe they're just there to try and help us out in some way. And sometimes, yeah, they're just being a complete jerk. And the last method to boosting your self-image I want to touch on is recognizing that negativity is part of our lives. Insults and criticisms happen all the time. There's going to be people who will just say, hey, why aren't you doing this? Or you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. There's a lot of things that we can always be building on and we can always be improving on. And I understand that part of that progression stems from problems, mistakes, failures, disappointments, and general negativity. There's a lot of these sorts of things are necessary for our growth, because we're not going to be thinking of solutions or doing any kind of innovation or making any kind of growth or change in ourselves unless we have an obstacle in front of us that we have to overcome. So I see these as necessary things, and again, it's more of like what I've been saying throughout this entire video, is to change your outlook on specific things and specific aspects that just come into our lives no matter what we try to do. So those are the methods that I have for boosting your self-image. Of course, there are plenty of other ones, and I would love to hear more about them down in the comment section below if you have any other ones that you want to be sharing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already for more videos like this in the future.